Lesson 13.5, Law of Cosines. We just finished talking about law of sines, which allows us to make a ratio and use proportion. However, law of sines fails when we do not have a pair, meaning an angle and its opposite side. Now with that gap, then we can use, or comes to power, the law of cosines. We can use law of cosines if we do not have a pair. But we can find one of the angles given the sides. Now this specifically, if you look closely at this, works for the measure, if you're given the measure of two sides in the included angle, that is a side, angle, side relationship. Or measure of three sides, side, side, side. Now, law of cosines can help you with a lot of, the law of sines can help you with a lot of things. Law of cosines can fill in the gap where law of sines comes up short. But in the process of getting everything out of a triangle, it's the combination of the two that will allow you to find everything you need. Now, if you look at the formula, notice that it looks a lot like Pythagorean with this addition. Now notice that ABC, BAC, CAB, all of the A's and B's and C's are present. If you have A on the left side, then on the right you have BC to BC and then the angle A. Here we have B on the other side. So we have A and C, 2 times AC, and then the angle of B. So there's our pair. Alright, now this is meant to be used when we don't have an angle in its opposite side, so you'll see how this is pretty helpful. Alright, we have an angle, C, and two sides, but we don't have little c. So we do not have an angle in its opposite side, so we cannot use law of sines. So we're going to use law of cosines. Since they give us angle C, we're going to use this equation. Now again, I mentioned if C is on the left side, then you have A squared, B squared on the right side, minus 2, and then A times B, and then cosine, law of cosines now, the angle C, since side C is on the left side. We can do this formula then and say A squared, so 27 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times A times B times cosine of angle C. C squared then is equal to, now make sure we are in degrees, they give us a degree measurement. If we do the right side of the equation, we should come up with about 1,401.33. Notice it's equal to C squared though. So we have to root both sides, and that will give us about 37.43. That is side C. Now what we've just done is we've created a pair. We have now angle C and side C. So at this point, we can use law of sines. Sine of 111 over its opposite side equals, let's say, angle A. Sine of A over side A. So since we were able to come up with side C, we can now use law of sines, which is a pretty efficient formula to use. And then we can also do sine of 111 over 37.43 equals sine B over 18. It doesn't matter which one you do. You don't have to do both, because if you know two angles in a triangle, you can find the third by subtracting them from 180. But it shows you that you can go either way. Now I'm going to do this one, since I just wrote that here. And if I do that, I'll get sine B equals, now this is a proportion, so we cross multiply, 18 times sine 11 divided by 37.43. That should give us about 0.449. We're looking for angle B, so we'll have to do sine inverse. Sine inverse of 0.449, and that will tell us B is equal to, again, make sure your calculators are in degrees, 27 degrees. And if you know it's 27 degrees, and you can take 180 minus 111 for angle C minus 27, and that will tell you 42 degrees, and that is angle A. So you have all three sides and now all three angles. Pretty handy. Here is a side, side, side problem. So again, we can choose anything here. We don't have an angle given. So let's just say we're going to look for angle A. So again, if we choose angle A, then I'm going to use this formula. We don't know angle A. So we fill it in. We get 5 squared equals 8 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 8 times 7 times cosine of A. This one takes a little bit more figuring because we have to solve for A. Now, how much of this you do in your head is up to you. If you take -2 times 8 times 7, you get -112, so minus 112. Subtract 64, subtract 49, both sides. I could have added them together first, that would be fine too. I get -88 equals -112 cosine of A. Now I have to separate the -112. So cosine of A is equal to 0.786 approximately. I have to do cosine inverse. Make sure you're in degrees. You should get 38 degrees. Angle A. Now you can use law of sines. Sine of 38 over side A equals sine of, and it's up to you, I'll do sine of B over side B. Cross multiply, and we get sine B equal to about 0.985. Now we have to do sine inverse, which would give you about 80 degrees. And again, if you have two of the angles, you can subtract the two known angles and get angle C. And those are our three unknown angles. And this ends lesson 13.5.